My video for October the 12th, 2018 is video number 2872. The title is JFK said, quote, "We control the weather," end quote. President John F. Kennedy talked about controlling the weather as far back as 1961. The study of ways to alter the atmosphere and manipulate storms has been ongoing before and since that time. Of course, Kennedy, being an idealist of sorts, saw this as a way to improve life on Earth for humanity. Others had a more malevolent purpose. What is the purpose of chemtrails? How does this phenomenon affect nature, besides polluting the air we breathe? Can we increase a storm's intensity and direct its course? For some, there is no doubt, and we've been doing it for decades. Have the recent hurricanes in the Carolinas and now in Florida, panhandle, been part of a greater plan of dark forces opening on our planet or operating on our planet? Some people see a conspiracy in much of what we experience, while others think such notions are crazy. I am in the former group. To me, it's all part of the money scam. War and weather modification are factors for the elite who thrive on disaster. Yes, we live on an insane planet, and individuals do not create their personal reality. The only real choice we have is how we choose to respond. I was trained to be a Republican. And of course, John Kennedy was a Democrat. And I think, in retrospect, he was one of our better presidents throughout the history of this country. Was he perfect? No. None of us are. And certainly no one in the political realm, including Donald Trump, can be perfect because the system itself is corrupt. And it's all based on the monetary system. Once again, as I said in recent videos, one or more, money was a means of enslaving humanity without them realizing they were being enslaved. Who did the enslaving? Well, again, dark forces. Are they extraterrestrial? Some say that the heads of the elite establishment at one point in history had elongated skulls. I mean, they went way up. And that's why they wore the head dresses and stuff that they did, so that they would look more normal. But their skulls were actually elongated. Is that true? Well, they have skeletal remains that indicate that. So I guess from the skeletons, we'd have to say, yes, it's true. There were people with elongated skulls. Were they the elite? I suspect they were. Do I know that? Can I prove it? Of course not. As I've said again in other videos, many things that we speculate on cannot be proven because we don't have all of the pieces to put together. But there have been a lot of pieces put together by archaeologists and scientists, and not all of them spout the agenda and the story of the masters, that is, the elite establishment. The elite establishment may blend in and look just like you and me now, because that's what the breeding has created. They've created it so that they could crossbreed and bring into being so that they would not look separate and different from. Of course, we have races, of course, we have religions, but we're still human, regardless of what race or what religion or what area of the world we come from, whether it's a cold climate or a warm climate. There are variations in humanity, but we're human beings. But some human beings obviously do not have conscience. They have no sense of morality. They have no ethical standards by which they abide. It's an anything goes mentality that infests the people at this level, like the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds, and as I've said, Hillary and others that play this game and are on the path of the dark agenda. Again, what's the most profitable business that's ever existed? It's actually war. War is the most profitable business. Well, chemtrails and things like that, and weather modification, those are war also. It's just a war at a different level. It's not fought with guns and tanks and armored vehicles and rockets and things like that. It's fought with chemicals and things that we don't even see, that are dispersed into our atmosphere, that we are forced to breathe just to be alive. They force it into our food, the genetically modified organisms. They force it onto our soil, so that crops grown, even crops that are organic, if the soil has been corrupted, it really can't be organic. It's very hard to get organic food in the United States, which is why, again, the Soviet Union, or the former Soviet Union, now Russia, is the largest producer of organic food, because they have lots of land that's not been polluted, like it has in Europe and in North America. And I don't know to what extent it's true in Australia and Africa. I would imagine there's been a lot of poisoning of the soil there too, but it's more wide open in the southern hemisphere than it is in the northern hemisphere. There's less density of population. What concerns me about the recent events is that the one that just hit North Carolina, I believe, and even the one that hit Florida, they were labeled category 4s or 5s, although I think the one in North Carolina actually was downgraded to a 3 when it made landfall. But the storms seem to be manipulated. Now, what I remember, I remember a storm, I don't remember what year it was, several years back, a storm went across Florida and made a U-turn, came back the other way. Storms don't do that. I'm sorry, that's a manipulation. And there were people that fled the east coast of Florida going west to get out of the storm, and the whole storm path changed and it came in from the other direction. You know, these are things that have happened in our lifetime that we can go back and we can look at it. And if we don't think that this is weather modification, I think we've got our head up our butts, to put it plainly, without using profane language. And we need to wake up. And there is an awakening happening. My question is, when will it happen? Will it happen while I'm still alive? I hope it does. But I can't be sure. And I have a friend said, a friend who was raised as a Christian and everything, said, stop praying for me. Just think positive thoughts. Well, that's very nice. And a lot of people want to just think positive thoughts. But thinking positive thoughts, if it demotes you from being a realist and dealing with the issues that we actually face, is like putting your head in the sand. It doesn't accomplish anything good or positive for humanity. And I want humanity to be uplifted. And I feel very bad for those people, both in the Carolinas and now in the Florida Panhandle, and other places in the world where storms have hit and they've experienced severe devastation. This should not be. And I pray for a time to come when it won't be any longer. Thank you, folks, for listening, and namaste.